Hey everyone, happy Saturday. This is Futures Brizio here, 11:40 a.m. on Saturday, August 10th. I hope everybody had a great week and having a nice weekend. Just figured I'd drop a quick video here with, I guess, just a little analysis and a little review from yesterday, from Friday. It wasn't really much typical summer Friday. The market kind of chopped around and then made one little move and that was it. Which I did capture a little scalp, I guess. But so let's just jump right in and just look at kind of see what we might see next week. So we'll just look at the NQ here, which again the NQ, which is the Nasdaq 100, and the S&P 500, which is the ES, are almost identical. If you put the two charts next to each other, they track almost identical. Now, I mean, they do look at it. A different mix of stocks. The Nasdaq's more tech stocks, where S&P is more kind of broad, big cap stocks. But they do move very similar, and so I do watch both of them, mainly because if a setup on one isn't exactly clear but looks good, I'll flip over to the other one. Sometimes you get a slightly better entry or setup on one versus the other one, but essentially, again, they move pretty much in tandem with each other. So we'll just look at the NQ here, and so again, this is the line chart. So if we go out to a 4-hour chart, we'll start here. You can see clearly we've been in a very major downtrend, which is pulling back now. So we had put in this low down here, and then we went up and we tried to come down, make a new low. We see we failed to make a new low. So that in and of itself is pretty bullish. And then we went up, and you can see on the line chart, this line is very, there was no dips in it, which is very impulsive. And you can see it took out this swing high right here, okay, when it tried to come up and go lower here. And then we pulled back into that area and then tried to go up again yesterday. Now, I do have this trend line drawn here. Now, look, there's nothing magical about trend lines. I mean, they've been around since the beginning of trading. But it is kind of interesting to look at. So, my short-term bias on this market is long, and I'm talking about short-term. And so if I was looking for longs on this, I'd be looking to trade it up, probably up to around this trend line, which you can see kind of may coincide with this previous support area here, maybe now acting as resistance. Who knows? But anyways, again, if I was looking to trade this long, it would be basically up to this trend line. And look, there's nothing, again, magical about a trend line. It could be a self-fulfilling prophecy because thousands of other traders are looking at this same trend line, looking at the same area. So what will happen if this does come up here? It'll get up to this trend line, and then there'll be all kinds of chop and noise where the buyers are trying to push it through and go higher, the sellers are trying to bounce off there and go lower, and it'll be wicks and indecision candles probably chopping around either side of this thing, and so that's fine. At that point, if I wasn't along, as soon as it gets up to this trend line, I'd close it and just step aside and not get caught up in all that chop. Because ultimately, what's going to end up driving the price through here or to bounce off and go way lower again is going to be, it's not going to be the retail trader. It's going to be the large institutions, hedge funds, the big money traders. Okay, we can only be along for the ride. Our little accounts are of no interest to them other than they want it for liquidity. So so again, short term, yeah, I'd probably be looking, based on all of this on the 4-hour chart, to look for potentially long positions back up to this, around this trend line. Then we'll see what happens. If we get a decisive close, like really bullish impulsive candle through here on, say, like a 1 to 4-hour chart, I'd probably wait for maybe a little pullback, have it come back to the trend line potentially, and then long at least back up to maybe into somewhere in this area, this previous high, because you can see this big move down was very impulsive again, probably left a lot of imbalance in here, and so maybe we would pull back and go up, somewhere up into this area. But we're a long way from that. So if we go down to a shorter time frame now, This was the trade I took on Friday. So right here, this was the, let's see, I'm trying to find the open. So this was the open on Friday right here. This is where the market opened. And then I took this trade around, so the market opens my time, 9:30 New York time. This was at 10:50. So about an hour and 20 minutes later, I got into this trade. So you can see we chopped around for a bit. We had this, I had this support level here. I did originally have this high drawn out as the swing high over here, which I've erased now since we kind of took that level out and we're up here now. But this is, going into the session is, I pretty much had marked out this. This was kind of the overnight price action back into this level. So the market opened, we chopped around, we tried to break higher, we came back, tried to break higher, came back again, tried to break higher, came back again. All right, so I got in on this second bounce right here off this level. It did come back, so I was in drawdown for a little bit. I had my stop down here, so I was not really in any danger of getting stopped out on this pullback. And then it did shoot higher, one move up. This ended at, it started at like 10:50, and which is 14:40 up to. So this took about less than 3 hours. And then price started to come back down. I exited a tiny bit late because I wasn't in front of my charts, but I did get out, and that was my trade for the day. And you can see it just went sideways the rest of the day. So again, what I anticipate potentially, again, I don't never try to predict the market, but what we might see is next week to see price maybe come back down, potentially again re-challenge this area again. Maybe it doesn't come all the way down here. Maybe it does. It comes all the way down to this lower level. I don't know. And then potentially a bounce and higher, and again back towards this trend line up here. Okay, so that's essentially what I'm looking for in the short term. If price gets up here, and when I say short term, I mean it would probably take it a day, maybe 2 days to get up here, because this is a 4-hour chart. But we'll see. I mean, could do it in one candle on a big impulsive event, but anyways, it could take a little time to get up here. But that's basically what I'm looking for, and it's really the same story on the ES. If we zoom out on the ES, we essentially have the same trend line. It's not as close by on the ES, but the price action down here and what we've done the last couple of days is exactly the same as the NQ. All right, so that's kind of what I'm looking for. So we'll see how all that plays out. But you can see, again, I'm using the line chart just to kind of very easily see the swing points without the noise of the candles. But again, on the short time frame, if I do decide to enter down here, I will turn on the candlesticks just to mark out the exact highs and lows, and swing points, take profits, stop loss areas, etc. Just to make sure that I'm not going to get wicked out on something, because again, the line chart only shows the closing price. But I do like the line chart just to kind of give me a more general view of where the swing points are. It makes it pretty easy to see the major swings and all the internal swings. Like this is a major swing here on this time frame, but this is all internal swing, right? So that's kind of what I'm saying. So yeah, so that's it for the NQ and the ES. So let's just jump over to copper. I did hold this copper trade into the weekend. You can see I'm still short here in copper. And again, out to the 4-hour chart, you can see we've been in this very persistent downtrend. We did go up and tag this trend line again. So you can see we've had 1, 2, 3, now basically 4 touches on this trend line. And, I got in really late on this, but I got in on the break of this structure over here. And I just decided to hold it because I do think that, at least for now, copper has the potential at least come back down near these previous lows. And so that's what I'm hoping for, to see copper kind of retest these lows. I don't generally like to hold trades over the weekend, but this is a really small position. If for some reason I get stopped out when the market reopens, it's going to be a pretty small loss for me, so I'm okay with that. But I do think, again, copper has potential to, to come down a bit lower here, at least back towards these lows and maybe lower. So, but it's kind of the same type of setup. This one we actually touched the trend line, and so now we'll just have to see if it actually proceeds to make new lows here. But again, my short-term target is back near these previous lows, but we've already been here twice. So, this area is either going to be used up and we'll just blast right through there, or if the bulls decide they want to, scoop it up and go higher from here, then so be it. But we've already had 2 taps on these areas down here. So, as price gets down here again, we'll just have to watch and see, if it accelerates through here, if it looks like, we're going to get some bullish sweeping here. So, but, that's basically what copper looks like to me here on this downtrend. So, again, I am holding this short over the weekend. So, so that's it. Again, guys, the line charts are really nice just for initial analysis. I know I've made a lot of videos about Heikin Ashi Smooth, and that's great too. I'm just showing you different things. Everybody has different visual learning, and I think, looking at charts is a very visual skill. And so whether you want to use candlesticks or bars or Heikin Ashi candles, Heikin Ashi Smooth, line chart, or some other weird charting, Renko's or, Kagi charts or whatever, you have to find what works for you. So this is just another view. And again, line charts are nice because they can help you visualize the trend and kind of minor and major swing points without seeing the noise of the bullish and bearish candles. But again, they have a disadvantage where you're not seeing the full range of price action on any particular candle because it only shows you the closing price. So you're potentially missing the high or the low at least anyways. And where price kind of high, low, the open and or the close. Well, actually you're seeing the close, but you're potentially missing the high, the low, and the open. And but you don't need that just for a quick analysis and just kind of visualize the trend and visualize the swing areas. But I do think you need to see that when you're maybe thinking about getting into a trade or drawing your levels. I think it's important just to temporarily look at that with the candlesticks and then go back to the line chart and then just let it play out. So and so that's kind of how I look at it. So yeah, so we'll see what happens next week with ES and NQ. Again, we've had a very, very steep decline here. I mean, this decline right here is really major. And so I don't like to, say, hey, I'm going to fight this downtrend because this is a crazy downtrend. But we do have support. If we go out to the daily chart, we did come down and tag this area right here, and then we potentially have another area down here. But, so I'd look at, down in here as maybe the next downside target if this downtrend continues. Again, if we turn on the candlesticks, we actually did tag this area previously. This is what I'm saying, like, look at this wick. This is bizarre. Came down, boom, and tagged this and bought it back up, which is why, at least in the short term, I'm looking for prices to go higher because we did tap into this liquidity way down at the bottom here and turned higher. So that's just another view on an even longer time frame here. So again, let's see what happens. But again, short-term target up to the trend line. If we conclusively break that, then obviously it's very easy to see where the next area would be, which would be up here at this swing high, at this touch of the trend line, somewhere up in this area, maybe, like right about here or so, somewhere back up to here. This is the hourly chart, okay? I don't want to clutter my charts. I'm going to take that off. And that's it, so let's see what happens next week, but that's kind of how it's looking. But again, I'll let the market tell me. But I did want to just point that out and just kind of rehash what happened Friday, which wasn't a heck of a lot. Kind of a typical Friday, not any real big news. And a Friday afternoon in the summer tends to be a little quiet, and you do get a lot of choppiness. So that's pretty much how it played out. So I just had that quick kind of scalp, I guess, or a day trade. So, anyways, guys, that's it. I'm going to leave it there. I hope you have a great weekend. We'll be back next week. Please smash that like button on your way out. Really helps me out. Subscribe to the channel. Questions, comments, leave them down below. I hope you have a great weekend. We'll be back next week, and we'll talk to you soon.